everybody, Toys of Arkham here. I'm back with a review of a 1/6 scale statue by XM Studios of Catwoman, and this Catwoman is styled upon the Rebirth comics, I believe, although there is a reference to the Justice League on the box. And I'm delighted to say that I'm doing this review really for Chris, the Batman statue collector, who is a huge influence on my own collection. He's an incredible YouTuber, brings nothing but positivity to the hobby, and I'm delighted to say that he has invited me to do this review for his channel. So thank you for that, Chris. So hopefully I get some decent footage for you, and I believe this might be the first review of this 1/6 scale statue on YouTube. Now, this overall design, I believe, is very Adam Hughes-esque insofar as the face of Catwoman herself isn't covered over, and she has goggles and she has that classic kind of hat slash mask on, although I don't think it's a mask, it's more of a hat that comes over her ears, almost like a classic pilot hat. And the suit itself is, I suppose, trying to mimic the texture of, let's say, latex or perhaps leather. I would say more latex. And as you can see, it is absolutely fantastic. The details on these XM Studio statues are amazing for 1/6 scale. A lot of collectors of statues go for the larger scales, and I understand why that is appealing. 1/6 scale is more appealing to me because I collect Hot Toys, and there aren't any Adam Hughes style Catwoman figures, or very little Catwoman figures at all in 1/6 scale. So this figure or statue fits my collection very well. Now, I will say that 1/3 scale is incredibly impressive in person, and I'm very lucky to have a couple of those pieces. But for the size this is, it does have great detail in it. So looking at the base, obviously there's a very imposing gargoyle that looks stone in colour, a kind of a light grey. And then at the bottom there's the stained glass that you'd see perhaps in a church, but obviously this statue base is to look like the top of a building, and it is looking very well against the backdrop of a couple of dioramas I have had made for my 1/6 scale collection, and they were made by the very talented Glenn Page of Cult Creations. So what does this statue come with? So the whip itself is actually a wired whip, so you can pose it in different ways. There is a bag that comes with Catwoman here that detaches. I'll show you that actually in a better light when I turn her around, but the bag sits quite well on her back, although it is likely to move if not posed correctly. Now, if I can turn this slightly without her falling. There is a loose chain that, if you're not careful, you could easily miss out on that chain in the box she comes in. It was sellotaped onto the inside, and it's quite easy to miss. I think the pose itself is really nice. Obviously she's leaning over the top of the building, and her sculpt is excellent. Now, the paint application isn't that great. It's good, but it's not great. It certainly wouldn't trick your eye into thinking it's human in the sense of Hot Toys. You know, Hot Toys have a really realistic look to them. This, not so much. And for a company that delayed this for so long to work on the sculpt, I'm actually surprised that the paint on the face isn't a bit better, if I'm being honest. There is an alternative head sculpt, and I'll put that on now in a second. I should also say there's the cat Isis, and sorry, I'm trying to focus. Yeah, Isis, like the cat itself, isn't painted particularly well. It's just a plastic mold. It's not the best looking cat I've ever seen in 1/6 scale, but that gargoyle is brilliant, isn't it? Very imposing. Having a difficulty getting good lighting here. So what I will do is I will replace the head sculpt now. That's a really nice head sculpt, I think. I think the lips of this have a glossier finish to them. Sorry for the bad camera work here. Yeah, it's a nice head sculpt. I think the fact that she has shortish hair is probably a good thing for the character of Catwoman. I mean, if she is going to be a cat burglar, she doesn't want to be leaving long strands of hair behind her wherever she goes, so I suppose it makes sense that she'd have a shorter hairstyle. Now, we'll just turn around the statue now. Go for this angle for now. The one thing I noticed when I took this statue out of the box was that there was actually a fair bit of dust on the body itself, which would suggest that this was produced and ready to go perhaps a long time ago, but they just delayed it for whatever reason. So the pose and the proportions are all excellent. That base is incredible. That was one of the reasons I bought this figure, was actually for the base alone, because it's an excellent diorama for 1/6 scale figures. So because that figure is easy to detach off that base, you can put any 1/6 scale figure on it, and they can look really good on the diorama itself. So that's one of the reasons I bought this. The other reason I bought it was because it's actually one of two pieces that are companion pieces, and that is the Rebirth XM Batman, which you can see over there. So they're really to pair with each other. I'll just turn this around again. So that's the back side of it. Again, really nice base. That paint job is incredible on the base. It really looks like real stone. Yeah, that's not bad either, in fairness. You know, the actual proportions and sculpt of this figure is amazing. I mean, that just might sell it itself, and I can understand if that is the selling point. You can see the bag, sorry, the bag is actually really nice. It has a bat symbol on it for whatever reason. That whip, I could probably do a better job of posing the whip, but it is a pretty long whip, so you can get plenty of poses with it. And there's the bag, which is really cool. So just get another image from the front. My apologies guys, my camera work isn't great, but I've had a long day in work, 3 children, and I'm anxious to get some sort of footage out for Chris so that him and his subscribers get to see this, hopefully before anyone else. So I think you'll agree it's a beautiful statue. It could be a little bit better, I suppose, in terms of paint application, particularly of the sculpts. Again, I'll just swap that out so you can see it one more time with the Adam Hughes type sculpt, which is beautiful, but I suppose lacking in a little bit of detail. See if I can get a better view of that. So I hope you're satisfied with that footage, guys. This is Toys of Arkham. I'm Toys of Arkham on Instagram and YouTube. I do some reviews myself, although not nearly as good or as often as Chris. I do have various figures here. I'll just give you a little pan of this room. All sorts of 1/6 scale figures. Anyway, we're not here for that. Perhaps if you want me to do a room tour at some point, Chris, I'll be delighted to do that. But for now, guys, I will say thanks very much. Please like, comment, and subscribe to Chris the Batman Statue Collector. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching today, and if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right here on the screen and check out these 2 awesome videos. I think you're going to love them. And also please join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to have you join in all the fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. See you in the Batcave.